Dr. W. Dondale from Kamla Nehru Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. Today we are going to discuss the part 7 of the element of group numbers 16, 17 and 18. And in today's presentation we are going to discuss the important compounds, that is sulfuric acid, second is chlorine and third is hydrogen chloride. And we have to see here the preparation of all these three compounds. After that the chemical properties or chemical reactions, and lastly the what are the importance of these three compounds. So uses of this compound. So all these part: preparation, chemical properties, physical properties, and the uses of all the three important compounds that we are going to discuss in today's presentation. So the today's topic is element of group number 16, 17 and 18, and this is the chapter 7 and part 7 of this chapter, and one part is left, number 8. So the topics that is covered today are the sulfuric acid, important compounds, preparation of sulfuric acid, physical chemical properties of the acid, uses of sulfuric acid. Another compound is there, chlorine and compounds of chlorine, that is preparation of chlorine, physical and chemical properties, uses of chlorine, and also last compound is a hydrogen chloride, preparation, physical chemical property and uses. So all these three compounds we are going to discuss in this part. So first part is the sulfuric acid. As we know, sulfuric acid is a important compound, and also you know that sulfuric acid is manufactured by the contact process, and this compound involves 3 steps. And as we know that sulfuric acid is a important compound, and this compound that is, if you there are 2 types of sulfuric acid: dilute sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. And this compound is very useful in the laboratory and also having industrial importance. So here we are, first of all we are going to see how it is prepared. But as we know, again now you know that if we take the concentrated sulfuric acid, if you know, concentrated sulfuric acid is known as the king of chemical. So this is very important compound and known as, there are different types of chemicals, but this concentrated sulfuric acid is also known as a king of the chemical because it is very dangerous, so very carefully we have to handle with the solution. And so the preparation of the by using a contact process, this involves 3 steps. So first step, second step and 3 steps. So there are 3 steps to prepare the sulfuric acid. And in the first step, sulfuric acid, here sulfur or sulfide ore like iron pyrite, we have to burn or the roasting in air, and it gives the carbon, here sulfur dioxide. So during this process here it is given that reaction is shown here, that sulfur react with the oxygen, and roasting means reaction with in the presence of oxygen we have to carry out the reaction. So sulfur combined react with the oxygen, we have to heat it, we have to burn or roast it in a furnace, and then we get SO2. So this is direct combination. Another, that is iron pyrite, this is the ore of sulfide iron. So iron sulfide, iron pyrite react with the oxygen and we get ferric oxide, and this SO2 is formed. So in first step sulfur dioxide is formed from sulfur or from their ores like sulfide ore. So we can start from the either you can take sulfur or we can also start from the sulfide ore, and after burning or roasting in air it gives the sulfur dioxide. So in the step 1 we get sulfur dioxide from sulfur, and in the second step here sulfur dioxide obtained in the first step is oxidized catalytically in the presence of catalyst. So here in the second step catalyst is a vanadium pentoxide. So the SO2 which is obtained in the first step, take it here in the second step and react with the oxygen in presence of vanadium pentoxide, because and forming sulfur trioxide. So we can convert. So this is the well-known reaction, that sulfur dioxide is converted to sulfur trioxide in the presence of catalyst vanadium pentoxide. So this here in the second step we obtain the sulfur trioxide, and this reaction is a reversible reaction and exothermic reaction. And in this case we have to maintain some temperature and pressure, and during this process we have to maintain the temperature, low temperature and high pressure, and after that we get this good yield of the sulfur trioxide. So in first step we obtain SO2, in the second step start from SO2 and carry out the it get oxidized in the presence of catalyst, and we get sulfur trioxide SO3 in the second step. And now last step is there, sulfur trioxide gas is obtained in the converter, and this gas is absorbed in the concentrated sulfuric acid chamber is there, and after this absorption we obtain the oleum. So reaction is shown here. See here now, SO3 obtained in the second step react with the that is it combined with the H2SO4. This is the diagrammatically flow chart diagram is shown, and this gets absorbed in H2SO4 and we get this type of compound H2H2O7, which is known as oleum. And when oleum is diluted we obtain this sulfuric acid. So oleum plus if you add water, then we get H2SO4 sulfuric acid. So these are the three steps. Again I am repeating. In the first step SO2 is obtained, in the second step SO3 is obtained, and in the last step, third step, we obtain oleum, and when it is diluted we get the sulfuric acid. So these are the three steps of preparation of sulfuric acid by the process known as contact process, and flow chart diagram is shown here for the manufacture of this sulfuric acid. So in this way we have to take this sulfur here, and then reaction taking place, SO2 plus O2, we get SO3, and sulfur burn here, we have to pass air here, and this is the dust precipitator here is shown, and washing and cooling, this is the chamber of washing and cooling, and wastewater get out from this outlet. Here is a water spray, so therefore the waste water is here is outlet for that. So here is washing and the cooling of this taking place, and after that another chamber is here. This is a constant H2SO4 spray is here from this, and now here wastewater again another from this also get out, and here drying tower this is the drying tower. So here drying is taking place. So here SO2 plus O2, and we get this reaction, and from this solution comes here, and these are the two part. Here is a arsenic purifier containing the gelatinous hydrated ferric oxide. So materials are here. Here preheater is here. After that the solution comes here in this chamber. Here is a catalyst shown here, vanadium pentoxide catalytic converter. So after converter, SO2 is now here, this is solution comes here. So direction is shown here. After that here is a constant H2SO4. This SO3 get absorbed, SO3 obtained here get absorbed by H2SO4 here, and these are the parts of H2SO4, and now here this is the outlet for collecting the oleum, that is H2H2O7. This oleum when added in the water or diluted, we get sulfuric acid. So this is the complete flow chart diagram for the manufacture of sulfuric acid. Now some are the physical properties of sulfuric acid. These are not important from the examination point of view, but we should have to know what are the color, what are the physical properties of the sulfuric acid. So we can say that sulfuric acid is a dense liquid and a heavy liquid, colorless and oily liquid. It has density 1.84 gram per centimeter cube, and it freezing point is there 283 Kelvin and boils at 611 Kelvin. It is highly corrosive and produces severe burns on the screen. If it is very dangerous, we have to handle very carefully, because it is if you you are handling the concentrated sulfuric acid, then you should not touch to our skin, because it is highly corrosive, and it can burn the skin also. So many accidents are already taking place, is there in the laboratory. Those are not doing carefully, then this type of accident may is there in the laboratory. So we should have to take care when we are handling the concentrated sulfuric acid. So these are some physical properties of this sulfuric acid. And now in case of, there are some important chemical properties of chemical reactions are there of sulfuric acid. And in case of chemical reaction, first reaction is a acidic property. As we know, sulfuric H2SO4 is acid, and we know the properties of acid. The substance which give H plus ion is acid, and so here the substances or the acid which have greater value of Ka, dissociation constant of acid is greater, it is a stronger acid. If it is lesser, then it is a weak acid. So acids are also stronger acid, weak acid. Again, it depends upon whether the sulfuric acid is strong acid, sulfuric acid are the weak acid. It depends upon. So as we know, strong acid are those where the extent of dissociation is more, like sulfuric acid. In case of acetic acid, the extent of dissociation is less, and therefore acetic acid is a weak acid, and H2SO4 is a strong acid. So it depends upon the extent of dissociation when in the aqueous solution or when dissolved in the solvent. So first property is the acidic property. Sulfuric acid is an acid and it can give H plus ion. So it is a diabasic acid because there are two replaceable H plus ions are there. So here this H2SO4 when react with the water, that is it ionized in the aqueous solution or water, and here two steps have been shown here. In the first step, one H plus ion is here, H2O here abstract H plus ion, so H plus ion from this, and sulfuric acid give H plus ion, and the water hydronium ion is formed, and HSO4 this another ion, and here Ka value is given, is greater than 10. Another this ion is formed, sulfonate ion here, so HSO4 minus is again react with the water and forming another H plus ion is replaced from this, and H2O hydronium ion is formed, and SO4 sulfate ion is here. So Ka value is given. So one by one the value can the H plus ion can be 2 H plus ion are there. So they are the replacement of H plus ion, or the substance which give H plus ion is the acid. So sulfuric acid show the acidic property, and their Ka value is also given, and also we know that greater the value of Ka means that sulfuric acid is a highly largely dissociated, and therefore H2SO4 is a strong acid. So in case of dissociation constant, Ka value is more, and therefore it is a stronger acid. In some cases like acetic acid and ammonium hydroxide, in that case the dissociation constant value is less, and therefore they are the weak acid. So there are two types of acid, strong acid and weak acid. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid. So first property, chemical property of this sulfuric acid is the acidic property. So sulfuric acid show acidic property. Another reaction number 2, that is reaction with metal and non-metal, that is oxidizing property also shown by the sulfuric acid. And metal and non-metal both are oxidized by hot concentrated sulfuric acid and get reduced to, and sulfuric acid itself get reduced to SO2. So it react with the copper. Copper is a metal, and sulfuric acid react with the copper and forming copper sulfate and SO2, and SO2 is formed and 2H2O. So this CuSO4, SO2 and H2O. So this is the reaction with the metal forming the compound copper sulfate. Here non-metal also, sulfur, carbon react and forming with sulfuric acid. This is concentrated. Here is a concentrate we have taken, and these are the non-metals, and react forming SO2. So itself it convert into SO2 and H2O. In this case carbon react with this and forming CO2 and SO2 and H2O. So these are the reaction with the metal and non-metal. So sulfuric acid can react with the metal and non-metals. And also remember that, as we know, oxidizing property of sulfuric acid depends on its concentration and temperature. And in case of dilute solution at room temperature, sulfuric acid behave like a HCl, as oxidizing metal that stand above hydrogen in EMF series. And here this iron react with the H plus ion and forming Fe2 plus. So in this way and a hydrogen gas is evolved. So any that is the metal react with the acid, there is a liberation of hydrogen gas. So hot concentrated sulfuric acid is a better oxidizing agent as compared to the dilute cold acid, and it oxidizes metal to metal like copper or aluminium. So many metals are there, they show some it oxidizes the metal. So this is important that you have to know this property. And the third important reaction is there, dehydrating property, that is removal of water. D means removal, hydrating, removal of water. So in this case, as we know, this is the sugar, also we know the carbohydrate. C6H12O6 is the glucose, and this is the sugar, also known as the carbohydrate, and here this is the sugar, that is carbohydrate. When react with the concentrated sulfuric acid, we get the carbon black. That is the reaction known as charring, and this is the important reaction in the identification of carbohydrate in our laboratory. So this get char, and black color carbon we obtain, and water get removed from this. If water get removed, we get a black charring. That is called charring. So when the sugar, concentrated sulfuric acid, is a dehydrating agent, and it remove the water from the sugar or carbohydrate, and carbon left behind is called sugar charcoal. Our process is known as charring. So sugar get we get the charcoal type carbon, and the process is known as charring. So this is the important test for the identification of carbohydrate in the laboratory. So this is another reaction, that is dehydrating property. So sulfuric acid remove water from the sugar or carbohydrate, and forming here the char. And this process is known as the charring. And number 4th reaction is also there, reaction with salt. Number of salt are there: potassium, sodium chloride, potassium nitrate, calcium fluoride. This compound react with this sulfuric acid and forming sodium hydrogen sulfate, and HCl is the important acid is formed. Corresponding acid is formed. In this case, if you take the salt potassium nitrate and react with sulfuric acid, we obtain the nitric acid. So potassium hydrogen sulfate and nitric acid. In this case, CaF2, if react with the sulfuric acid, CaSO4, and it is twice HF. So hydrofluoric acid. So corresponding acids are found. Which salt we are taking, it react with the sulfuric acid, and we obtain the corresponding acids. This is important. And here another additional reaction is here. What is the action of concentrated sulfuric acid on the hydrobromic acid, hydroiodic acid, HBr, HR. So in this case, we can reactions are given. This sulfuric acid oxidizes hydrobromic acid to bromine. So see, hydrobromic, this is the like HCl, hydrochloric acid. So this is hydrobromic acid. React with the esters of forming bromine. Bromine is the product. SO2 and water is another product. And it also oxidizes hydroiodic acid. This is HR, like HCl. Hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, hydroiodic acid, and forming iodine. So these reactions can take place with the sulfuric acid. And important uses of the sulfuric acid are there, and a very important compound. As we know, it used as a solvent in the laboratory. Many compounds are soluble in the sulfuric acid, and also it used for the manufacture of fertilizers, and for the for example ammonium sulfate, and also the superphosphate, like that. And it is also used for the manufacture of color pigments, paint, dyestuffs, intermediates are there. And also in the petroleum refining it is useful. In detergent industry it is very useful, and in the metallurgical process sulfuric acid is used for the cleaning of metals, electroplating and galvanizing process. And also the sulfuric acid, we are adding acid in the batteries, like therefore it is used in the storage batteries as a laboratory reagent, as a solvent. We are using this material, and very important for doing the test. There are a number of tests in the laboratory for identification of that is acid radical. Concentrated sulfuric acid test is there, sulfuric acid test is there. So it is useful in the laboratory, and it is also used in the manufacture of nitrocellulose products. So number of uses of this sulfuric acid is there. And next important compound. So this is the first compound called sulfuric acid. We have seen preparation, and physical and chemical properties, and these are the uses of sulfuric acid. Second important compound is there, and that is chlorine, and compounds of chlorine is HCl, hydrogen chloride. So second compound chlorine that we are going to discuss here. And in case of chlorine, that is the formula is Cl2, and this compound was discovered by the scientist Chile and German Swedish chemist in 1774 by the action of HCl and MnO2. But in case of in 1810, Davy is the scientist, established its nature and suggested name the chlorine depending upon the color. And this chlorine can be prepared in the laboratory by the reactions, two reactions are given here for the synthesis or preparation of this compound. So first method is given by using this manganese dioxide, and second by using potassium permanganate. So MnO2 react with the HCl forming MnCl2, and chlorine is formed in this way. So see here, 4 chlorines are here, 2 are here. So reaction is balanced. Now MnO2 manganese dioxide will react with the HCl forming MnCl2, and Cl2 is the chlorine and water is released. So we can say that chlorine can be synthesized or prepared by the oxidation of HCl, hydrochloric acid, by using manganese dioxide or by using potassium permanganate. So this is simple reaction is here for the manufacture for the preparation of chlorine. Another by using potassium, both MnO2 and KMnO4 are the strong they are oxidizing agent, and potassium here KMnO4 potassium permanganate react with the HCl forming KCl, MnCl2 water, and 5 molecules of chlorine get formed. So in this way, by using this oxidizing agent MnO2 and the KMnO4, we obtain chlorine. So these are the method in the laboratory for the preparation by using oxidizing agent. Second method is also there, that chlorine can also be prepared by the action of concentrated sulfuric acid is given here, or hydrochloric acid reactions are given here by using a sodium chloride common salt and manganese dioxide. So two reactions have been shown here, and here sodium chloride common salt react with the sulfuric acid forming sodium hydrogen sulfate or bisodium bisulfate, and HCl compound is formed. And this HCl we have to take here, and it react with the MnO2. This HCl form in the first step. These are the first step HCl, and react with the MnO2, we get MnCl2, 2H2, and this chlorine is formed. So overall reaction combination of these two, we obtain this complete reaction, net reaction. So this is the first method, second method. And in the chlorine can also be manufactured by the decon process and electrolytic process. So two processes are given here, manufacture of this chlorine. And in case of decon process, it react chlorine can be manufactured by the oxidation. So it reacts with the oxygen in the presence of CuCl2 catalyst and forming, this is the chlorine. So Cu here, 4 Cls are there, 2 Cl2 and 2 H2O is other part. So Cl2 is manufactured by using this decon process, in which hydrogen chloride gas and react with the oxygen in the presence of CuCl2 catalyst at temperature 723. So this is simple reaction that is known as the decon process. Another by electrolytic process, by carrying out the electrolysis of this NaCl. So NaCl dissociate forming Na plus ion and Cl minus ion, and there are two electrode, cathode and anode. Cathode have negative charge, anode have positive charge, and the reaction taking place at the cathode, these two ions are there. So here water water is there in place of water, and water plus 2, it takes 2 electrons forming hydrogen gas and 2 OH minus, and this Na plus ion of sodium chloride react with the OH minus ion forming NaOH. So this is obtained at the cathode, whereas Cl minus ion, this ion, chloride ion, loses electron and forming Cl, and when these two Cl combine, we get the chlorine. So chlorine is obtained at the anode, and the anode have positive, so chlorine is, so dissociation is taking place of the sodium chloride, and at the 2 electrodes, 2 compounds are formed. So chlorine is obtained at the anode. These are some physical properties. This only for our knowledge. Here it is given physical properties of chlorine. Chlorine is a greenish yellow. This is the color of this chlorine, greenish yellow gas, having pungent and suffocating odor. It is poisonous in nature. It cannot be easily liquefied into a greenish yellow liquid, and the boiling temperature is 293 Kelvin. It dissolves in water and forming chlorine water. So these are the physical properties of chlorine, and next is the chemical properties of chlorine, second important compound. And in case of chemical properties of chlorine, this chlorine react with the metal and non-metals, and with metal like aluminium, sodium and iron. So when it react with the aluminium forming aluminium trichloride, when it react with the sodium forming sodium chloride, when react with the iron forming ferric chloride. So iron chloride here, and it also react with the non-metals, and it forms chloride. So both the metal and non-metal will react with the chlorine forming chlorides. So here phosphorus molecule react with the chlorine forming phosphorus trichloride. Sulfur react with the chlorine forming S2Cl2 chloride compound of sulfur. So chlorine react with the metal and non-metals forming chlorides. Another reaction is that it has affinity for hydrogen, and it reacts with the hydrogen and forming hydrogen and chlorine forming HCl, and they form the hydrogen compound containing, that is HCl is compound is formed, and also he react with the H2S and react with the chlorine forming HCl gas, and sulfur get released. So in this way they have affinity for the hydrogen, and chlorine react with the hydrogen forming HCl, that is the acid is formed, hydrogen chloride. And another reaction is reaction with the ammonia. When chlorine reacts with the ammonia with excess of ammonia forming ammonium chloride, and nitrogen gas is what. When we take the chlorine in excess react with the ammonia, then nitrogen trichloride compound is formed. So in this way this nitrogen trichloride is an explosive. So depending upon the concentration, whether we take ammonia in excess or whether we take chlorine in the excess, the different compounds are formed. So in first case ammonium chloride, in the second case nitrogen trichloride, which is an explosive, are formed. So when it reacts with the ammonia, so two reactions are there. And this is another reaction with alkali, like sodium hydroxide react with the chlorine. Here they form produce the mixture of chloride and hypochlorite. When it reacts with the hot concentrated, so two reactions are there. Chlorine reacts with the sodium hydroxide when it is in cold and dilute, when it is hot and concentrated. So two different type of reactions are there. So when it reacts with the cold and dilute sodium hydroxide, react with the chlorine and forming sodium chloride compound and sodium oxychloride. So and water is released. So this is the compound forming the chloride and chloride compounds. So this is chloride and this is sodium oxychloride. And when it reacts with the hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide, then it forms sodium chloride, hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite, and water is released. So chlorine also react with the dry slake lime, that is calcium hydroxide, and form the bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is very useful material for the purification of water. So this is the COCl2 bleaching powder. This is the bleaching powder. Calcium hydroxide react with the chlorine forming CaCl2 and the bleaching powder. So this is important reactions with the alkali. And another reaction is that reaction with hydrocarbon. It also reacts with the saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbon. When it reacts with the saturated, so the next reaction is that chlorine reacts with the hydrocarbons, and hydrocarbons are saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbon. And when it reacts with the saturated hydrocarbon, then there is a substitution of hydrogen get replaced and substitution of chlorine take place. So in this case one hydrogen is replaced and HCl is formed, and here methyl chloride is the main product. Methyl chloride is formed. So substitution take place. In case of unsaturated hydrocarbon, chlorine is added here, on one is on this carbon and second here. So we get 1,2-dichloroethane. So substitution and addition can product are forming will react with the saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon. Another important property of this chlorine is the oxidizing property. And chlorine oxidizes ferrous salt to ferric salt and sulfite to sulfate. So here ferrous sulfate converted to ferric sulfate. Here Fe2 plus SO4 2 minus, plus minus are equal. Here Fe have 3 plus, so 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus, and this is 6 minus. So ferrous sulfate react with the chlorine in presence of acid forming ferric sulfate. So ferrous sulfate to ferric sulfate. So chlorine is an important compound. So here sulfite, sodium sulfide react with the chlorine forming sodium sulfate. So sulfite to sulfate compounds are formed. And one more reaction here is shown that sulfur dioxide when react with the chlorine forming H2SO4, and when iodine react with the chlorine forming HiO3 compound. So HCl acid formed in both the case. So here acid is formed in both the case. So here sulfuric acid and the iodic acid. So here this is sulfuric acid and iodic acid are formed. So these are the important reaction. And one more reaction is there, that is bleaching property, and chlorine requires some water or moisture for bleaching, and therefore here and also it liberates nascent hydrogen. So chlorine reacts with the moisture of water forming HCl and HOCl. This HOCl give the nascent oxygen and HCl is formed. So this nascent oxygen used for the bleaches the vegetable. So chlorine bleaches vegetable matter or any colored organic matter in the presence of moisture or water. So this colored organic matter when they are with the nascent oxygen forming colorless organic matter. So bleaching property is an important property of this chlorine, and there are certain uses, and chlorine is very useful for the purification of drinking water or well water, and it purifies it, and therefore this chlorine is used for the purification, also known as sterilizing the drinking water. And it also used for the bleaching wood pulp required for the manufacture of paper, rayon and bleaching cotton textiles. Number of applications are there, and this chlorine is also used for the extraction of metal like gold, platinum. It is also used in the manufacture of dyes. Some dyes are there, color dyes are there. Drugs are also there, organic compound like carbon tetrachloride, chloroform, DDT, refrigerant. Some compounds are there for manufacture of this compound. This chlorine is useful. This chlorine is also having an important use, that is, it is used in the preparation of poisonous gases. And poisonous gases like phosgene, COCl2, tear gases like CCl3, NO2, mustard gas. So all these poisonous gases, for the preparation of these gases, chlorine is very useful compound. And third important compound is a hydrogen chloride. In case of hydrogen chloride, as we know that this compound was hydrogen chloride was given by prepared by the Glaber, is the name of scientist, in 1648 by heating common salt NaCl with the concentrated sulfuric acid. And in 1810, Davy is the scientist. He says that it is a compound of hydrogen and chlorine. So one method of preparation of this compound is given here. That is this HCl is formed preparation. This compound is prepared by the reaction of common salt NaCl and sulfuric acid at this temperature. We get this compound, sodium hydrogen sulfate, and HCl compound is formed. Another method is NaHSO4 is taken. We have taken here. It reacts with the NaCl at this temperature, and we get sodium sulfate and HCl. So this is the simple method of preparation of hydrogen chloride HCl. And hydrogen chloride, it is a gas, and it can be dried by passing through the concentrated sulfuric acid. And so this is the one method of preparation of we can say that the hydrogen chloride HCl. And in this case, some people this compound have some physical properties. These are not so important, but also we should have to know. That is why here the some properties are given here. Hydrogen chloride is a colorless and have a pungent smell. It can be easily liquefied to the colorless liquid, and its boiling point is the 189 Kelvin and melting point is 159 Kelvin. This HCl, it is highly soluble in water. When we dissolve in water, it that is highly soluble in the water. So these are some physical, and some three important reactions are there of the HCl. One is the acidic property. As we know that HCl is an acid. It is a strong acid, but because it gives the H plus ion, therefore it is acid, and Ka value, dissociation constant value, is more, therefore it is strong acid. So it HCl react with the when dissolved in water react with here, and this water abstract H plus ion and forming hydronium ion and Cl minus ion. So it gives H plus ion. So this when dissolved, when this aqueous solution of HCl gas is called hydrochloric acid. When this gas, HCl gas, is dissolved in aqueous solution of dissolved in water forming hydrochloric acid, and its dissociation constant is very high, and that is why it is a strong acid. As we know, the extent of dissociation is more, then it is a strong acid. When extent of dissociation is less, it is a weak acid. So in case of HCl, dissociation constant have higher value, larger value, therefore it is a strong acid, like sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid, HCl, both are the strong acid. Another reaction is that it also reacts with the ammonia and forming ammonium chloride. So here ammonia reacts with the HCl forming ammonium chloride compound, and this is also the test for the whether if there is a ammonia, then if you dip the glass rod in the HCl and put it on the test tube of the containing ammonia, when we are heating it, the fumes are coming. If white fumes are coming, ammonia is there. So to test whether ammonia is evolved or not evolved, we can test with the HCl. So when ammonia and HCl react, forming white fumes of ammonium chloride. This is important reaction of this HCl. third important reaction is it is also react with the noble metal like gold or platinum. As we know that some noble metal does not dissolve in the solvent or cannot be dissolved in the acid or base. In that case, the substances which are not dissolving, in that case we can make the aqua regia. Aqua regia can be made or prepared by 1 part of the nitric acid and 3 part of HCl. When we make this ratio of these two acids, strong acid, then we get aqua regia, and aqua regia dissolves all the compounds which are not dissolving. Some substances are there which cannot be dissolved, but aqua regia dissolves such type of noble metals. So this gold dissolves in aqua regia, platinum also dissolves and forming this type of compound. So these are the 3 important properties of the HCl. And now here we should have to know which type of bonds do halogen form with other elements. So we can say that halogen are electronegative element. It can form generally the ionic bonds. Does BRF5 obey the octet rule? No. BRF5 is an interhalogen compound and does not obey the octet rule because there are more than 8 electrons are there. Bromine have 7 electrons. All halogens have 7 electrons, and out of 7, 5 electron overlap with this 5 electron of this 5 electron pair, and remaining 2. So total 12 electrons are there around the bromine. Therefore, it does not obey the octet rule. What is the oxidation state of bromine in the compound? So bromine pentafluoride is an interhalogen compound, and in this bromine have +5 oxidation state. How many electrons do halogen require to complete the octet? Halogens have 1 electron less to complete the octet. So here all halogens have 1 electron less to complete the octet. So it requires 1 electron to complete the octet. And what is the shape of ClF3? ClF3 is an interhalogen compound, chlorine trifluoride, and in this case there are here 7 electrons are there. Out of 7, 3 are overlap with this and forming 6 electrons. So total 5 electron pairs are there, 3 bond pair, and remaining 4 electron as a 2 lone pair. So around the chlorine there are 5 electron pair, and therefore 3 are the bond pair and 2 are the lone pair, and therefore the shape is a trigonal bipyramidal as per the VAC pair theory. But due to the presence of 2 lone pair, the shape may also be considered as a T shape. So ClF3 have trigonal bipyramidal shape or T shape. So remember this. And so today we have discussed 3 important compounds. One is the sulfuric acid, second is a chlorine, and third is a hydrogen chloride. Their preparation, properties and uses of this compound we have seen in today's presentation.